What's going on, guys? Army-Firedawg is back again, and today I actually have a review time for you of the iFi audio, and this is their xDSD. And of course, I like to start with the construction, and then I work my way down. So the construction of the xDSD, as you can see, is very small, it's slim, and it's compact. It is primarily made of an aluminum-like material throughout maybe the vast majority of its construction. The front of it does, of course, like I said, have your 3.5mm. It is a balanced and unbalanced connection. So if you have a balanced 3.5mm jack as well, you can plug it in here. Moving on from that, you have right here, the two indicator lights here is your sample rate and then your input selection. So these colors will actually change depending on your sample rate, all the way from MP3 format all the way up to DSD 512, and it will vary in color. And you can, of course, get that in the manual, which I'll link in my written review. Here you have your volume knob, your mode selector knob, and your power button. And I'm also tying in, I know it's the construction, but I'm also going to just go ahead and tie in the features in this very same part, because they kind of go hand in hand. So the features on the iFi xDSD are actually fairly straightforward. However, when reading the initial instructions, they're kind of confusing. And then, to disclaim, there'll be a couple segments in this review. As you can see, this is a re-upload because I did make a few errors on the features and how to operate them on my original review, which is why I took it down. And then I'm, fixing it right now. So, to turn this, the features of this is actually pretty cool. There's several of them that really differentiate it between this one and its iDSD variant, which I will actually touch on later. The first being is this has a 3D effect, which in theory makes things sound more, 3D around you. The other one is its X bass feature right there, which, simply put, pushes the bass forward, makes the bass more prominent. Now, I personally, and again, I will touch on this more in the sound section later on, but I never really heard a difference between the 3D and the X bass when turning on or off. I was really excited about that because if you remember from my iCan Pro review, I loved hearing that because that was a immediately known difference I was able to see instantly. But to not sidetrack too much, I will again touch on that later on. But the settings is this can actually turn Bluetooth. To make it go into Bluetooth mode, my original review, I was incorrect because I did the false presumption that all of the Bluetooth settings and functionality would be under the Bluetooth section in the user's manual, which is right here. This is also linked in my written review, the full thing so you can see it yourself. However, how to put it into Bluetooth mode is in, and my fault, I did not read the full instructions. I made a wrong assumption. To put the iDSD into Bluetooth mode, which is its main feature, is actually under the on and off switch area, which is in the very first opening part, on and off. Right here it is. You have to hold it down. So, very simply, what I messed up my first time, when you put this into Bluetooth mode, you simply hold this down. It's in wired now, which is green. Continually hold it, and it will turn, there it is, blue. And then once it is in blue, the wireless mode, as you can see right here, it is alternating between blue and red. What this means is it's automatically trying to find a source, phone, computer, etc. to pair to. Now, once you're in this mode, like I messed up, I was incorrect on my original one, is I had it in line out mode, which I was aware of and I touched on. I did not test the line out mode, I only tested the xDSD as a portable combi, so I can't and won't give any input to the line out functionality of it. In line out mode, you cannot adjust anything. Volume control, the X bass, nothing can be adjusted from this. However, when you're in the Bluetooth mode, you have your headphones obviously connected right here. All your volume can be adjusted and you can still adjust the X bass in 3D. Now, when it's in the Bluetooth mode, I did notice very slight improvement on the X bass and 3D effect. More notably in the 3D effect, I was able to hear a difference, but still not so much on the X bass, but that was again only when it's in its Bluetooth mode. So that's a really cool feature that I think sets the xDSD apart from several other of the offerings in the portable combi unit genre. But So once it's in this mode, yeah, it connects to your phone just fine. And at least from my ears and my personal opinion, I could not find any discernible difference between wired and wireless sound. I can hear the pitchforks coming now, but I really couldn't. I could not tell any loss of quality from going between a wireless to wired mode. Now it will stay in this mode, the wireless mode, until you do the same steps. So if I turn it off and then turn it right back on, as you can see, it's still in Bluetooth mode. So it's actively right now looking for my phone or a phone to pair to. Now moving on to the sound quality. So for testing the sound, I did not use the features, even though, like I said, I didn't personally hear any difference it made. But just to remove any potential bias, I had the features turned off so that I'm only hearing the xDSD for itself. Also, I tested it in wired mode via USB to my phone. Also, even though I didn't hear any discernible audio difference between wired and wireless mode, I did it under the same pretenses as the features. So, the sound quality of the xDSD is about what I expect from all iFi products. It's wonderful. It is so clean. The detail retrieval for this little guy is incredibly surprising. This is a tiny little combo unit. It's very slim, so its form factor when mated with a device, it doesn't add any size to you whatsoever. So I was able to have this and my phone together in my pocket without any issue, and it wasn't any comfortable like it was stretching it out, which I did have with its other sibling, the iDSD. It is actually notably bigger than this guy. But the sound is just, it very cleanly comes through. Like I listened to the Your Lie in April soundtrack. Unfortunately, it's on YouTube. My CD hasn't came in yet. But it's wonderful piano and violin focused. Very, very nice. In the notes, you can hear the artist's breaths. You can hear, it just sounds very real. Now, with that being said, I did notice a very slight, and it is not huge, but it's a slight only because I've heard the same track so many times. I've really gotten into violins lately. I've heard it so many times, it just, the treble, especially on the upper end, is a bit subdued from what I'm used to from my desktop rig. Now, do I expect it to perform like my desktop rig? No. But it is a difference that I've come to notice nonetheless. The bass was still pretty good. I couldn't really tell any difference between the headphones I was using, whether it be the HD650, Oppo PM1s, the Meze 99 Classics, or my super sensitive Empire ears, which I will touch on here in a second. But between the bass control between those and the desktop, I do think the bass actually was better on the HD650 because I think those scaled better with the desktop rig. That's just what they're known for. But that's here nor there. The main thing is that I noticed is just the treble is just slightly lowered. And it's even from, I think, my phone that I noticed that the treble is a bit sharper on my phone than from the xDSD. Otherwise, the sound is just, I can't hear any bias or difference between how the music is portrayed from its source to what I've become accustomed to, other than that slight reduction. Now, going back to the headphones, the ability for the xDSD to drive about any headphone, as long as you don't need something ridiculously strong and power hungry, this could power just fine. Like I said, as something as really easy to drive as the Oppo PM1s or the Meze 99 Classics, as something stupid sensitive as the Empire Ears Hermes 6, which it did play before I go on a little bit. It did play the Hermes 6 very nice, and it went from straight from the HD650 to the Hermes 6 just fine. However, this does not have a black enough background to completely get rid of the hiss that the Empire Ears Olympus line, at least, is known for. It still had that hiss, though it wasn't super prominent. I was still able to hear it even with music playing, albeit faint. But it also, like I just said, has the HD650, which is a 300 ohm and a very scalable headphone, as I'm sure many of you know the legendary HD650 and its ability to scale with better gear. It still sounded very, very good on this little guy. So in terms of sound quality, I have no complaints about it. Now, to conclude my thoughts on the iFi's newest xDSD offering, I think there's a lot to be had here. In its current form, I do find it a bit expensive in retrospect to the sound quality of the iDSD Black Label being pretty much the same as this, maybe even slightly better from my memory. It's been a while since I heard it. However, it is also half the price. The big thing that sets this thing apart is that it's Bluetooth and it has the X bass and 3D effect that, at least in my ears, I personally could not hear a discernible difference. But before I conclude, the battery life on this thing is decent. It's not the best in the world. It doesn't last as long as I thought it would. I didn't get an exact, and I wish I did. I didn't time it quite well, but from listening to it, I do remember having to charge this quite a few times, like about once, sometimes twice a day on my listening time, having to charge this thing. Now, granted, I was bouncing between big headphones like the HD650 and very easy headphones, so that may have had something to do with it, but it's something you should know. I think you will have to charge it probably once if you're listening to it through your entire work shift, but if you're listening to it on and off throughout the day, I think you should go about charging it once a day. But guys, that is actually it for my review of the iFi Audio xDSD Portable Amp and DAC. If you have any questions, or if there's something I may have missed or not clarified as good as I should have on here, please hit me up in the comments below. I will absolutely reply to you and do a hopefully much better job of explaining what you're confused on, or explaining what I didn't cover, or just want to say hi in general. But anyway, guys, as always, my name is Army-Firedawg. It has truly been a pleasure, but most importantly, and please I ask, stay safe.